What is going on, everybody? Corey here. Welcome back to another Fly Casual. Hey. It's reviews and it's rumors tonight, baby. So we got a few comic reviews lined up, and we're going to hit heavy. And also, wouldn't you know, Garrick's back with another rest of the Saga. We know you love it, so you're going to stick around and hang out for that. And after that, we got a little bit of F9 rumor, and we got some discussion. We're going to talk about a little lady named Miss Ahsoka Tano. Yeah, fan favorite. Stick around for another Fly Casual.
Let's get ready to wrinkle!
As I sit at the end of this podcast table and I look across the various items sprawled out amongst the microphones and headphone cables and things, this is what I see before. I see cups. I see solo cups inside of other solo cups. I see cans of soda. I see random discarded bottles of various alcoholic spirits. I see cans of beer. I see a can of Mountain Dew inside of a plastic stein. I see a bottle of Tums. I see a BB-8 robot. I see remote controls. This is one hell... Like right
that
here,
sounds like a Fly Casual podcast.
Right here, there's Kirkland's bourbon, which I forgot there was still half a bottle of this down here, next to an almost empty bottle of the Disaronno. What the hell's that? The
Disaronno.
The stuff you put in the amaretto. Amaretto. There you go. Bottle of amaretto. Which who brings a bottle of amaretto and just nips at it? Mike. That's the answer. The answer.
No, that would not be me.
You didn't bring the amaretto down here?
Mike Archibald.
I would drink it.
I believe it's Giacomo.
Really? You brought the amaretto down?
That sounds like
what a weirdo.
And wedged between the Costco bourbon and the amaretto is a bottle of Kroger brand Daytime Cold and Flu knockoff Dayquil. We are some old, sad people, is the point that I'm driving at. There's rubbing alcohol right over there across from the Tums. I believe there's some allergy medicine.
There's some Afrin right here, or whatever it is.
There's a lighter just sitting over here.
A bag of peanuts.
Yeah.
half-eaten bag of peanuts.
A solo cup full of peanut shells.
An empty decanter.
Some Jägermeister.
Yeah, a little Jaeger.
Howie has his normal pure leaf iced tea just awaiting to be cracked open. Yeah. Wow. Wow. And to me, this isn't dirty. This is the right amount of messed up.
Sounds like a Bacast night.
Yeah.
We need to start video recording this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to make that happen whether you guys like it or not.
You buy the camera. We'll do it.
I got a camera.
Put it on the YouTubes.
We'll get this happening.
You buy a good camera.
480i Sony.
We're going to do it some way. One way.
One way or another. You're going to find us. Are you going to get us?
The ultimate man cave, to say the least.
Yeah. This is just one part of the man cave, though.
It is.
You know, I'm really thinking about turning the other part of the man cave, the other room, just into a replica, a micro replica of the Cheers set. I've already got the bar.
I like the idea.
I've got the bar.
I love the idea.
With the brass rail, but I've got the stairs that come down in the right direction. I just need to put a wall of windows and the door over there. You know what I mean?
You need a Woody.
I need a Woody.
Woody.
Who doesn't?
Things that can help with that. The question is, does the door to the little room that we used to have, the studio, does that become like the door to the office or the door to the bathroom? See, I can't decide.
I was thinking office when I was first thinking.
Here's what sucks. We got rid of two light fixtures that were both two of the exact same light fixtures that are on the set. The one hanging in the hallway by the bathrooms and the one that hangs over Rebecca's desk after she joins in her office. And we're watching through Cheers. We're almost done at this point. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we got rid of those. And they're like the exact same light fixtures. I'm mad that we got rid of them because now totally could have used them for this wacky endeavor that I
that room when you showed it to me last week, because we haven't been in there in several years, that felt like preschool. You know, like when you go back to your preschool class.
Was it this small?
Yeah. Yes.
Did we actually spend hours?
How did three dudes fit in this one room?
Yeah, three smelly, funky dudes at the end of each
dudes,
night.
one room.
Yeah. Yeah. It is amazing that we ever put up a cast.
I was glad I sat by the door.
Yeah. Yeah. You had it. You had the best. You could open the door and let some of the funk out when necessary.
Yeah.
So good old times.
Let
Welcome
the funk
back,
out.
ladies and gentlemen, to Fly Casual, episode number 194.
How many?
What?
194.
Whoa.
Yeah, I had a conversation on Twitter about
I'm sorry.
about the leaked photos, the Ep9 leaked set photos, and talking about one of the characters. Since we're on the spoiler cast, I'll be a little more loose lipped than I was last week.
Do it. Loose it up.
Poe Dameron was in some of the pictures, and he was wearing sort of what I thought is Indiana Jones-esque attire. Mm-hmm. I said, so is this like Indiana Damerones, or is it like Pondiana Jones? Like, I need to know what we're going to call this now. And then a conversation happened on Twitter, and then we decided that Damerones sounds like a Star Wars themed baked good. Like you go and order cake. I would like to get some of those Poe Damerones. Could I get a baker's dozen of the Poe Damerones? So since the wife likes to macaron, yeah, exactly where I was going with it. Since the wife likes to do baked goods whenever we hit milestone podcasts, I'm going to see if she can actually figure out a way to make Poe Damerones.
Of course,
I'd eat them.
Yeah,
I don't care what's in them.
Yeah, probably meringue.
I'll stick them in my mouth.
I'm a betting man.
Yeah, and Garrick's coming down for that 200th.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Together for the 200th episode.
We used to get together a lot more than we do recently. What happened to us?
I don't know.
Garrick. Hate each other.
Life.
That's part of it.
Kids. Damn kids.
The hate.
Freaking kids. Why can't they go to college already?
And there's soccer games the day after we record podcasts.
I got to wake up super early.
Yep. Hey,
I got a coach this time. They wrote me into it.
No.
Oh, you're
I know. It's awful.
That's the best news I've heard all day.
Explains so much.
All they told me all I have to do is stand there and say, "Good job, kids." So
coaching.
Guess I'll do that
At that age.
And report anybody who's doing spousal abuse.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know what I'm going to
get suspended for 3 games.
I don't know what I'm going to do if they're not doing a good job. You suck, kid.
And use the F word often.
Just don't say anything, and the kids will go back to the parent and be like, "Coach didn't say good job to me specifically."
Just watch
you did do a
that
good
one
job,
movie.
Johnny.
Watch that one movie with Will Ferrell and the soccer
Brothers?
coach.
No.
Kicking and screaming.
Yeah, that one movie.
Yep.
Right.
There goes how he pulled.
They have John C. Reilly in it as well.
Deep cuts.
Anyhow, welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
We got stuff to talk about tonight.
We sure do, and we better get to it because
Yeah,
Garrett's got coaching to do.
Yeah, right.
I got a whistle and everything.
Mr. Corey T. Wilson over there periscoping or whatever it is that Mike does is Mike.
YouTube.
YouTube.
Subscribe.
Oh, are you YouTube living now?
No.
You're just adding that in?
Yeah.
Great. That's great.
Subscribe on YouTube.
This is real time.
Yeah.
He's getting the real time. Oh, we're up to 20. No.
No, but we got 3 little hearties, little heart things.
We do.
Yeah.
That's cute.
We only have 1 little hearty on the podcast. That's Garrick, not Jay. Cross bottom down a few. I skipped
That's
you.
me.
Eat it.
He took my name, though.
I know. I did.
What's that?
Come on,
Garrick
not
J.
Jay.
Howie.
Get
it right.
Yeah.
I'm going to shave my beard and
control.
I'm confused. Who's going?
I'm out of order.
Hey, you all were looking a little tired, a little fatigued, so I'm going to keep you on your toes. But
Toast with cinnamon sugar.
I'm throwing you some curveballs.
Some toast with butter and cinnamon sugar.
Throwing an ultra ball, and I'm putting some English on it.
You missed.
Curve it.
Nope.
Excellent. Get that excellent.
No, I jumped right out of
Kicking
it.
and screaming, Howie. I nanab buried your ass.
I ran
Get that
away.
berry in there.
You want to
Get
know
that
why?
golden berry.
You know why? Because I have an excess of nanab berries, and they're worthless, so I've crammed one down your throat. There you go.
And I hate them, and I spit it out onto you.
You're going to need
Hold
them
on.
later. Don't throw them all away.
27,000.
Don't tell me things like that.
You're going to need
I
them.
hate this game.
Never enough alcohol.
I'm going to stop playing again very, very soon.
Berry alcohol.
Mike's now responding to people commenting on Periscope.
Sorry. Yeah.
You've got to respond.
That'll make so much sense in 2 weeks.
Damn, that's a lot of alcohol comments going on.
Well,
That's what I just said
Welcome
at
to
the start
Fly
of the episode.
Casual.
See, now the listeners know that I'm not totally full of crap. Speaking of full of crap, it's time for some review.
That's a legitimate comment. And Mike's going to die.
That's the peanuts. It's a peanut allergy. Mike didn't tell you that all the time he's eating peanuts is actually a slow attempt at suicide.
It is very slow.
He's got like 20 EpiPens. He just keeps hitting
slow
himself.
suicide.
Anaphylactic suicide.
Phylleptic.
I like phylleptic.
Yeah, I do too. Anaphylactic.
Anaphylactic.
All right.
That's a Star Wars disease. If I ever heard once.
All right. Bye, Periscope. We're going to say bye because you guys can't hear Garrick.
That's my next character name when we play a game. It'll be anaphylactic.
It's got to be apostrophes everywhere.
Yes. Oh, yeah. She's a Bothan.
The
Rest assured. Clan name Leptic.
Slippery fish.
That's right.
The slipfish. Hey,
What's going
guys.
on, Garrick? What's going on?
So, before I get to reviews, let me do a little something here. A little rest of the saga. You guys like this?
Don't I ever?
You like this?
Yeah.
All right.
I like
Well,
it when someone else has to put all that writing into something, not who.
Well, let me start this off. Here we go. So our story begins in the far off and exotic country of Mongolia. Mongolia is a country with a vast assortment of terrain. It has mountains to the north, the Gobi Desert to the south, and a vast Mongolian Manchurian steppe that is the figurative as well as the literal heart of the country. It was in these plains that the Mongolian identity would be tried, tested, and forged. The early inhabitants within the modern borders of what we now consider the country were mostly nomadic people that sustained their culture on livestock, such as sheep and cattle. The vast openness of the plain offered little refuge from the elements such as rain, wind, snow, or intense sun, and made it nearly impossible to sustain any significant sort of agriculture. The wide open spaces also made a defense of one's tribe nearly impossible. Hundreds of nomadic clans lived in the prehistoric version of Mad Max's Thunderdome as they fought each other for their very survival. These battles, skirmishes, and full-out wars tempered their warriors like steel in a forge, and so much so that the Mongolian warriors became feared throughout the world. Their ferocity and lust for blood was so great that even China, one of the greatest powers at the time, built a big-ass wall just to keep them out. China, however, may have had nothing to fear from Mongolia in those times, as the clan tribes were fiercely loyal to only themselves, making a scattered and weak Mongolia. This would last until the wee hours of the 13th century, when the balance of power would not only tilt in Mongolia's favor, but the once backwater country would unbalance the power of the entire world. In 1206 AD, Temujin Bojijin would rise up to find all the clans, bring them together, and in the darkness bind them. After Temujin established himself as head of Mongolia, as the emperor, he would then take the name of Khan, Genghis Khan.
Another guy.
He would be the man who would go on to create the largest land empire to date. And all it took was killing an estimated 11% of the world's population at the time. Even through all this devastation, the murder, the rapine, the pillaging, even with the vast influences of new cultures and religions, Genghis would make it a law that his warriors and the women of the Mongol tribes would still wear their tribe's colors into battle. He would make sure that the shaman traditions practiced since Mongolians' antiquity would still flourish in his new empire. But eventually, like the proverbial dust in the wind, Genghis would fade away into nothing. But his legacy would leave an indelible mark on human history. Nearly 700 years after the death of Genghis Khan, on a cold November in 1919, China canceled Mongolia's autonomy. This action would eventually lead to another bloody war that would win Mongolian independence. But in the interim period between being a Chinese puppet state and a full independent country, National Geographic magazine decided to check up on the country the Khan had left behind. A writer and a photographer for the magazine named Adam Warwick took a team with him to talk to the people of Mongolia, the so-called people of the wilderness. The team spent several months on the fabled grass plains talking to the inhabitants, partaking in local customs, and snapping pictures of everything they encountered. One of these remarkable things they had noticed is that people still practiced the shamanism of old. They saw that the Chinese culture had influenced their ceremonial dress, but for the most part, the robes and headdress remained unchanged to that point. It was on one of these days touring a local village that a photographer named Luther Anderson would take a picture of a married noblewoman that would appear on page 525 of the January-June 1920 volume of National Geographic. In this picture, the noblewoman wore elaborate robes colored with precious, bright dyes. A ceremonial curtain of beads called ordos framed her face, hiding her ears. Her hair was pulled up from her scalp and formed into a perfect crescent on either side of her head that was meant to pay reverence to the horns of a plains cow, whose issuances were used in Mongolian shamanistic tradition. Since the Chinese had seized power before the time of the photo, they outlawed the wearing of gold or jewels on the clothes, around the neck, or on the fingers. So the Mongolian woman had found a loophole and placed her precious jewelry in her hair, which created a virtual golden halo around her head. The picture, as well as this old issue of National Geographic, would eventually fade away into the periodical section of the deepest part of the library for nearly 100 years, until someone dug it up. Ian McCraig was a costume designer looking for inspiration for a huge movie he was just hired to work on. He needed something that was regal, exotic, and bespoke a certain genteel nobility of the character who was going to wear it. It was in that search for the specific look when he came across that 1920 issue of National Geographic. He turned to page 525. The picture of the Mongolian ceremonial dress ignited something inside him. He knew in an instant he had found what he was looking for. This identical dress and makeup from the photo would have made its an appearance on movie screens everywhere in one of the biggest movies ever to come out. You see that ceremonial costume and that hairstyle that woman was wearing in the picture in the 1920s issue of National Geographic would be worn by the young queen from Naboo, Padme Amidala, when she called for a vote of no confidence in Chancellor Valorum, which initiated Palpatine's rise to power. And that's the rest of the saga.
What?
Wow. So while you were reading that, I was Googling the images, and then as soon as I saw it, I went, oh, that's Amidala. And then started
Hey, no, you're cheating.
images. Yeah, I wanted to see for myself. And like, as I'm doing that, I'm looking at different pictures of Queen Amidala and realizing that they apparently took a couple of her hairstyles and jewelry styles from different Mongolian noble pictures.
Yeah, he basically ripped off every picture in that that issue.
Yeah, it's like there's very different, and yet she's got different looks that you can compare to all of these very different looks. That's really, yeah. It's not direct. I mean, they rounded a lot of stuff off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say modernized it, but simplified it a little bit.
They took some like modern creativity, but not much.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, that's what it is. That's cool. Impressive bit of research.
So there is that. So, hey guys, comics came out.
Hey! Came out.
And before we get to talking about a few comics here, we did have some big announcements. So, you remember the
announcement events of all time.
Of all time. You guys remember that Solo, a Star Wars movie that came out? Remember?
Yeah, I remember when that Solo Star Wars movie came out.
Well, they're making a novel adaptation of that movie that will include some bonus scenes. Yes. And not only that, they are also making a comic book adaptation of the movie.
Yay!
That will include bonus scenes.
We were
I
asking
might
about
actually
that.
buy that
We
one.
were asking about that a few episodes ago, why there hadn't been something like that.
Well, that they have announced it. It's coming out. And not only that, they are coming out with a 5-issue miniseries of Han Solo's time at the Imperial Academy.
Nice.
That will be completely original.
I'm all in on that.
Yes. So they released the first image in the November comic solicits, and it's basically Han in his pilot uniform getting yelled at by what appears to be a higher ranking officer. And it looks pretty funny.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'm excited about that. That's going to be awesome.
You know what I'm excited about? I heard that in some of these extra scenes in the novel, we're actually going to have characters from a different Star Wars property that were not in the movie.
Oh, really?
Meaning there will either be interaction or reference with, to Saul Guerrera.
Yeah.
And maybe even Jyn Erso in the novel.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That's what I've seen whispers about on the Twitter sphere.
I would pee my pants.
Yeah, I like that. I like tie those threads together. Because I saw John Kasdan actually addressing it, saying, no, we never had any of that stuff because, that movie was in development when they were in like the early development of Solo. So, all that wasn't there, but, he absolutely supports like pulling those continuity threads together.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what extra. Maybe we'll get some Infus Nest backstory. I hope. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
They had a Beckett comic come out, which was okay. Had a little bit Infus Nest in it. Had some Val. Basically, Beckett's crew's exploit, I guess, in this one little mission before the events in the movie, the Solo movie. So yeah, it was all right. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to watch Solo again.
I do too. I'm ready.
It's at the Dollar Theater now here. So
yeah, seriously, what the heck's going on? The movie was such a big failure. Then why don't I have it on freaking streaming yet? Good
September,
Lord.
Baby. Next month. Or is it this month?
No, that's this month.
This month. Yeah. It's out now. Go get it. Yeah. So we had a couple comics come out. We actually had the penultimate issue of Poe Dameron. And for those who don't know, that means second to last. Yeah. So Poe Dameron's coming to an end. And the next issue 31, it's over forever, guys. Yep.
Wow.
They're hanging.
I pined for this for so long, and now I'm going to miss.
Is he going to die?
Snap is hanging up the beard. Poe's hanging up his jacket or giving it away or whatever he does with that jacket.
Howie, do you press your beard when you take it off at night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. You guys don't?
No, my beard is small enough that I can just kind of shake it out.
You got to keep those flyaways in, Yeah, anyway.
But I will say I do not recommend taking the little sweater pill grinder thing to the beard.
No.
Not a good idea.
No, not a good idea.
Do not recommend.
Yeah. So on the next issue of Poe, we may find out if Snap Wexley is actually alive. Because in the last issue, issue 30, maybe some question if maybe he didn't make it after all. Maybe Snap's not alive. Uh-oh.
So
Corey.
A comic writer is going to tell a movie film director that he can't put his best friend in a movie. Got it.
Maybe they'll leave it ambiguous. I don't know. We'll see. I wrote a letter to the comic, though, so maybe I'll get to see that in the next issue. Yeah? Yeah.
Do that still?
Yeah, I posted, he put out a call for letters to the editor on Twitter, and I tweeted.
Did you drop our name?
Of course you did.
That goes
Dang
a long
it.
way.
No.
Did you say that you're an 8-year-old?
Yeah.
Because he got a better shot.
Jeez, mister.
Star Wars.
I love your Poe Damerons.
Well, Star Wars is a kid's franchise.
You're a kid's franchise, Mike.
Adults aren't supposed to like.
There's a lot of empty booze bottles I could be throwing. They're heavy ones, like 1.75 liter variety.
Keep it in perspective, boys.
Star Wars is for everybody, just not at the same time sometimes.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So yeah, we had Darth Vader come out. It's pretty good.
Hey.
Not bad. Not bad as Darth Vader goes.
Fades.
We get so basically, I mean, I guess the biggest thing in this issue is at the end, the Emperor had brought in Padme's Naboo starfighter, or not starfighter, shuttle, or whatever that is. You know, the silver thing.
One of those silver ships.
Yes.
Yeah, Naboo. So he kept that.
We got lots of that.
Lots.
He wants Vader to fly around on it, and Vader's like, "Nah, okay, I'll do it, but I want a planet." And Emperor's like, "Okay, you can have like Tatooine, and you can just like destroy all the sand people and turn it into glass." He's like, "No, I want Mustafar." Mustafar.
So that's the genesis, huh?
Yeah, that's where it happens. So I guess next issue we'll figure out why he chose Mustafar. I think we all have our suspicions as to why. And then
maybe that's because where he was born.
Yeah,
that's where
he wanted to erect a handsome gravestone for his dead wife.
That's where he killed Maul.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting going forward in the next few issues to see how he constructs his castle and all that junk. Yeah, so I love Vader. It's a good comic.
I do
good comic.
Stuff.
Afra's also good. Check out Afra. They killed Finger and Dan in the modal nodes in the first frame. So.
I was going to say, what the hell was that? Hello?
Yeah, so I guess they're dead now.
My favorite jizz band ever.
No, they're dead.
Now they're dead.
Now they're dead.
Long list, top 40 list of jizz bands.
Well, one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Just, cut short.
The greatest jizz
cut
of
down
all
in their
time.
prime.
Yeah. So Afra's cool. Big bomb there is Agent Tolvin, Afra's, love interest, has contacted Darth Vader and kind of revealed that she knows his whole plan to overthrow the Emperor at some point. And now she kind of, is inadvertently setting up a confrontation between Afra and Vader again. So that should be interesting. See how that works out.
It was going to happen at some point.
Yeah, it's got to happen. It almost happened maybe 10 issues ago, but we'll see. So yeah, good stuff in comics, guys. Check out Afra. Check out Vader. Those are my picks of the bye week.
Yeah.
Did I do that?
Picks of the bye week.
Picks of the bye week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, apologize to anybody who feels that the reviews were reduced, but after all, Garrick be coaching. Yeah.
What? Yeah, I got a coach, dude.
Yeah, coach.
The Afra, real quick, the second to last frame with Vader staring out the viewport and
the dead guy.
Yeah, the dead guy looks a little crumpled.
Yeah, so Tolvin, went through back channels to get this message to Vader, and everyone who delivered the message is now dead. And it'll be interesting to see. So right now, the murder bots 000 and BT1 have found Afra, and they're out for revenge. And then now Hera Syndulla wants to get Afra because she has codes to some info she needs. And she's after Afra, and now
after Afra.
Darth Vader is now knows where Afra is, and he's after Afra, and so pretty much this is all going to come to a head at some point, and it's going to be hilarious. You'll see. It'll be
excellent.
Funny.
Excellent. Well, you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen.
Huh? What?
It's time for PORKINS by the week.
What?
2 weeks in a row?
A dude takes 1 week off and y'all lose your shit. I don't know if y'all know this, but a while ago, I explained to all y'all where the term Wookiee comes from. But what I didn't explain was where the name Chewbacca comes from.
What?
Star Wars being Star Wars, I'm sure you all are guessing that there is a massive amount of research and decision-making and creative talent that went into the development of the name Chewbacca.
Okay.
But what if I told you
that, in fact, the Russian word for dog is Sobaka?
What?
Yep.
What?
Well, there you have it.
There it is.
Vader is
That
what?
sounds like
Some
about
kind of Scandinavian, so might as well.
I would kill for modern Star Wars character names to have that much anything. Like, oh, there's a Swahili word for fish.
Seriously,
You know,
at
rather
least
than
a little, like he picked up a book or something.
now we've got snap and hype and flicks and flops and flukes and jips and
Yeah. Donald Faison's character's literally last name is Faison.
that is only okay because it's Donald Faison and he's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, dude. Every time Donald Faison and Star Wars are in alignment, all I can do is think of that episode of Scrubs where like the chick's uncle was like her uncle or step uncle something was Billy D. Williams.
Yeah,
And he goes to the hospital. He's like, Lando. No. You can call me Billy D. He's like, and he nods and then shakes his head. And he's like, Lando. Like he refuses to call him anything but Lando. Love that. Love
he's
that
Lando.
bitness. Speaking of bitness, it's time for some rumor.
Oh, yeah. Some real business right here.
I love those rumors. Stick them in my butt.
Mike,
Yes.
what's happening?
Well, boys, we have
what?
a little bit of rumor tonight. Just one little rumor we want to touch on. And then we're going to get into our deep dive.
Are you doing like the late night Saturday night radio host thing over there?
We are, man.
We'll do a little of this and then we're going to bring it back down.
Bring it back.
We're going to take it back up again, but then we're going to slow
What
it
is
down.
he doing there? Yeah.
Phone lines are open.
They are open. Nobody's manning the
555
phones.
5552.
This
So
hour
you
brought
know.
to you by William Chevrolet on 53rd and Main.
Check us out on Channel 4.
YouTube.
We're on the internet. now.
YouTube that shit.
It's the YouTube.
All right. The big rumor this week, guys.
Yes.
A classic villain is supposed to be returning to the franchise.
Don't tell me.
Dracula.
What?
The giant from the Ewok movie that had them all hanging in a cage from the ceiling.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wampa?
I don't know.
No, the giant.
Sarlacc.
No, he's freaking. I don't remember what the hell he's called.
Are you talking about an Ewok movie or something?
I just said in the Ewok movie.
Ah,
One of the Ewok movies.
Caravan of Courage?
I'm trying to
You know,
go
at
space
this
while
point,
you look it up, buddy.
I'm gonna be damned honest
Bigfoot.
with you. I don't remember
It's Bigfoot.
which one is which. The Gorax.
That thing.
The
Gorax.
Gorax.
That dude thing.
Yes, and yes. From the
Sure.
that wasn't Caravan. It was the Ewok adventure.
No, that
wasn't
would
it?
not be the villain I am
No, yes, it was. It was.
referring to.
Caravan of Courage.
Corey. No.
That thing scared the
Caravan
piss
of
out of me.
Courage. I need to watch
I'm
that
glad
again.
they're bringing it back for the movies. That thing was scary. That is great. All right, what's next?
Movie Web this week reporting.
Was it Gorax?
Rancor.
Hot
Rancor.
new rumors
Ooh, Rancor.
coming off the set.
Rancors.
No, Rancor would not be the villain. No. A Rancor would be a mindless beast that eats,
That could be a villain.
not a
Unless it
villain.
has a brain implant that makes it smarter.
Beast that eats as well.
No, but he has a brain.
No.
If the Rancor only had a brain.
Godzilla.
Salacious B.
Back to
Crumb.
Wizard of Oz. Thank you so
Salacious.
much.
Now,
Salacious B. Crumb.
Salacious B. Crumb. See, I would, you know, your Jar Jar theory.
You know what they say about Salacious?
E.B. Crumb.
Yeah, they do.
That needs to be on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
God, this is awkward.
Movie Web this week reporting rumors coming off the set of Star Wars Episode 9.
The dragon. What bones were laying in the sand when Obi-Wan goes like
Crate dragon?
or whatever he does.
That's a crate. That would be a crate dragon.
That's the sound he made, right?
K2.
Yes. No, not K2.
K2.
Dead.
Ponda Baba.
Pondo, no.
Still might be alive.
He's got his arm.
The Death Star.
Rontos.
The Death the Cold.
The Defticle.
Rondo? Is that what you said?
Oh no!
I'm gonna let you guys keep going.
the special edition music scene from Return of the Jedi. Either one.
I
One's
like
fine.
that. That's not a villain.
Well, we did on Twitter get more people on our side than you guys.
Melanoma.
Boom! Eat it.
Is it melanoma?
Yeah, melanoma has returned.
That's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Use your sunscreen, kids.
All right. So take all of this with a grain of salt.
Cold
because
sores.
This is
Salt.
just rumor.
The clap.
Yes, the clap. You got it.
The drip,
Yes!
drip of gonorrhea is returned to Star Wars. That's exactly right.
The clap. There you go.
Freshman health class has returned to Star Wars.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Younglings.
Long pauses and silences in podcasts.
I'd keep going, but I have a feeling I'm going to hear another gonorrhea joke.
Hangnails. It's hangnails. Oh, that's the most annoying villain.
Hangnails and paper cuts.
Snap Wexley.
Ooh, snappy Wex.
Yeah,
Sexy Wexley.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
He's just
droid
too
Deca,
sexy.
but like he's just a little hologram pad.
No match for droid decas. What? Huh?
Mike doing impressions.
Hey, that's not nice. Come on now.
Snap Wexley's droid.
Snaps beard after he hung it up and pressed it.
Movie Web reporting this week.
Oh, just tell us.
I'm trying, but you guys keep saying gonorrhea.
That's all we do.
That was like one time.
Gonorrhea.
Actually, you guys don't know this, but Mike has a special condition where that's all he hears when anybody talks.
Gonorrhea,
The word
diarrhea?
gonorrhea over and over and over.
Oh, syphilis. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Crabs? Is that what we're talking here?
Crab lice.
Oh,
You get the
yeah,
crab.
you know how you do that.
Chlamydia?
Just shave. Get rid of that shit.
I've heard that that doesn't always do
It
the
doesn't
trick.
work?
That
We gotta shave.
some of them get in the root there.
You got to shave close.
You got to take off the first couple layers of skin. Shave off
then-
that epidermal.
And then use aftershave lotion.
Oh my God.
Slap it right on.
Yep.
that what you do?
Smack it.
You become
Everything will be better.
I feel like a rocket ship. My bottom half is on fire.
Rocket ship aftershave lotion.
Yeah,
This
that.
is the STD episode.
Oh, dear God.
Of like,
I'm learning
How are we
so
going to get
much.
through this? I have no idea.
I've run out of STDs. I don't remember.
So who's that classic villain, Mike? Just spit it out.
All right.
Rip that Band-Aid off.
Maul.
I got to do some setup. You guys going to let me do some setup?
Oh, Lord.
I guess.
What are we
Without saying gonorrhea?
We've waited this long.
Can't guarantee it.
Yeah, I mean, there's only
All
so
right.
much
spoilers ahead
potential.
from the set of Star Wars Episode 9. Potential, you're right. Yes, you are. So as we have been slapped in the face with over and over the last few weeks, this is
Gonorrhea.
Ep9/10/part 1, part 2, whatever, is going to be the wrap to the Skywalker saga. And given that this is going to be wrap of the Skywalker saga, you know, our remaining Skywalker, Kylo, and I guess Leia-ish? Lee?
She did.
Maybe. I don't know. But so Kylo, at some point, the spoiler / rumor thingamajig goes that he will be encountering some Force ghosts, including Obi-Wan, maybe a little Yoda.
Yeah.
But most interestingly, we might be experiencing a little, and this goes back to rumors actually that we had for Ep 8, that we might be experiencing a little bit of Anakin Skywalker / Darth J.
What?
Vader.
What?
The third.
Yeah, the third.
The Vades?
Junior.
Count Vader.
So, and the rumor goes that the image of Anakin may be phasing back and forth between Anakin.
Yeah, this was heavy in
Darth
the
Vader.
rumors for Last Jedi.
Yes, remember all that
Yeah,
we talked
it
about.
was.
Man,
This.
guys, think about how much cooler that would have been than what we saw.
Wasn't Snoke supposed to
Stop
be
hating.
Vader or something?
That was part of the fanboy wet dream for
It
Last
was.
Jedi.
You're right. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
So, I mean, given that this rumor has been around, and you're right, alluding to Ep 8, do you guys pay this any credence?
Nope.
Does this make any sense
It's
to
not
you?
that I disbelieve it. Like Poe Dameron, I nothing it.
Yeah.
Aw.
I feel when this thought is inside me, I feel nothing.
What about when he's with Snap Wexley?
When Anakin is with Snap Wexley?
No, when Poe's with Snap Wexley.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Corey should feel something there.
Because their chemistry comes alive on screen.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, do.
There's so much of the chemistry.
It's palpable.
Okay, so now personally, I mean, I could totally see an Anakin appearance, but this like phasing back and forth between Anakin and Vader seems like, again, it's an old rumor. It didn't play out last time. It seems
when we had the rumors of The Last Jedi, which more or less played out, which was that it was going to go deeper into the explorations of the Force. They kind of played out. It sure didn't go all that deep. I mean, what we got was, well, they made some books at some point, and when you snap your fingers, you get created like a 2,000 person snap band.
Whoa. I wish I could do that.
That's cool.
So that's all we really got when it comes to the depth of the
I can
Force.
find out my parents are weird shadow things.
Yeah, there you go.
That's fun.
they're in the stone of Erised or whatever.
Erised. It's desire
Erised,
backwards, bro.
Yeah. So we didn't really get much, but those rumors were in the and it made sense that if we were going to get deeper into the explorations of the Force, that we might use like the Anakin ghost as sort of a guess what, things weren't all okay, like we would maybe left off Return of the Jedi. That's a big thing to try to play with because it's a redemption story. And we're going to say, well, he's not fully redeemed. That's playing with fire in terms of important stuff you're going to mess with.
Yep.
Without those implications that were rumored to be happening with The Last Jedi, with just this kind of open vacuum that we have regarding episode 9, I'm going, well, I kind of hope they don't do that. But then again, maybe they will go deeper into the Force. I feel like kind of late in the game to start doing that, but who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, another rumor that's been swirling around is that JJ is actually going to be, I mean, we've already heard rumors that this is going to be the longest of all the Saga movies. And the latest this week I've heard is that JJ is going to really attempt to pull all of the existing new canon into this somehow. So, I mean, I guess if that's the case, then, we're pulling in, the Force stuff that we've learned through Clone Wars and Rebels and Ezra and, the
Saw Gerrera.
What is the place in between and all that stuff. So
Never.
That'd be interesting to explore.
The upside down.
It would be, but I don't know. Do you guys think? I mean, I guess if anybody's got that in him, it would be JJ.
Would he?
Does he have it in him? I mean, he's a simple story guy.
Yeah. I'm with Howie on that. That sounds way over JJ's head.
Yeah.
Unless he realizes that's who he is.
Guys, he's totally not Khan.
I'm sorry,
totally not Khan, guys. Not Khan.
Stop.
I mean, just
back up for a minute, though. I mean, put this in the context, though. You guys are spewing this based on Force Awakens, JJ.
Right.
Let's talk about this in light of The Last Jedi.
Okay.
And the backlash and Disney and,
I'm not just talking about Force Awakens Jedi or JJ. I'm also talking about Into Khan Darkness. JJ.
I get it.
Like
to me, that's still past JJ. I'm talking about JJ in light of the fact that whether people want to admit it or not, there was backlash against The Last Jedi, and I don't care what people are saying. I know that backlash is being discussed within the ranks of Disney and Lucasfilm. And is he feeling pressure to dig deeper than he has in the past?
I don't think he knows the difference between digging deeper and what he does. I don't think JJ has a concept. I
tend to believe you.
I don't know.
No, I'm not putting him down so much as I'm saying in his environment surrounding with the success of the movies and all the people who are just like, hey, make every important sci-fi franchise ever from now on, please, because you're the best at everything.
Lucky.
How is he going to have that ability to suddenly go, you know what? I screwed up and I'm going to have to, or not I screwed up, but what I've done isn't good enough now. I got to do better to make up for this other thing.
He has to do better in this.
Well, I'm not saying it's not beyond him to recognize who he is as a director,
his limitations,
and being able to pull enough people in to help, circumvent that.
I want that to happen. I've got two movies that tell me
they brought the big reason he did what he did with The Force Awakens was because there was we need to get back to the look and feel of Star Wars
and lay a foundation,
and so that's what he did.
Yeah. And then the foundation was torched and dug up and left as rubble. And so I could see how now it's kind of well, we laid that foundation for a reason. I didn't do it because we were hitting reset. But I laid a foundation. You didn't use foundation. So maybe, I could see him maybe being consciously going, all right, I
think there's an enormous amount of pressure on him right now to pull this all back together and make this a satisfying ending. Whether we'll get that or not is yet to be seen. But, when I heard that JJ was being pulled back into this, I was like, okay. I felt like if there's anybody that can kind of pull this full circle, I suppose it's going to be him, because he started this, he started this journey. He created those things that you were just talking about, all that setup that a lot of us don't feel, was, he teed up something that, The Last Jedi did not end up running with. But so again, I guess if there's anybody that's going to be able to pull this full circle, it'll be him. I mean, he's the one that came up with, the initial ideas. He had, from what we're hearing, at least a treatment for Ep 8. I suppose, like I said, I feel like, yes, he's not known for story, but I feel like if there's anybody going to be able to pull this out, it's going to be him. So, I don't know.
Because he's the director, if there's anybody, it has to be him. But I don't know.
I understand his limitations, though. I mean, I'm looking at this. Gosh, I want to believe that they're going to pull out a miracle and they're going to make this
guy, not a story guy.
I know. I get it. I get it. I just hope he's surrounding himself with enough story people to be able to pull this off. I don't know. I don't know if Chris Terrio is going to be able to be that guy.
Martha.
Well, now, but okay, here, the X Factor, though, George has supposedly been pulled back into
is George that guy now? Is George that guy?
I hope just so. Saying.
I like me some George.
Just saying.
Need me some Georgie.
I mean, maybe there's enough George magic in there to... I don't know. I know this is all long shot, man. I get it.
For somebody who's like, if Rian Johnson makes a trilogy, you can't drag me into that theater.
Well, that's Rian Johnson.
I know, JJ. But it's amazing to me that you can be so hopeful that they'll go beyond.
That's
what
me. But that's me, though. I you know me, man. Yeah, I mean, look at The Matrix. For crying out loud, I still try to see the best in that. I try to see the best in the Phantom Menace. I mean, come on.
See, come on. It sucks.
No, I did not.
Burn.
It's not.
You said it just.
Gotcha.
I love.
You said, look at how crazy I am.
I am pretty crazy, though.
You crazy.
So I don't know. So yeah. So this seems like kind
it's
of
not done until it's done.
In terms of seeing Vader in this, though, you guys don't think we'll see the masked Vader.
I don't know. It just seems
weird.
Yeah, it doesn't seem right.
It would be a powerful moment if justified correctly.
How does he turn into Vader? Wouldn't he just turn into Scarred Man? How does he get the costume in his ghost form?
Don't know, man.
I think the switching back and forth to Vader, I think that would be the completely
Well, he's
wrong
already
move.
Switched from old Anakin to young Anakin.
Exactly. I mean, there's so many reasons against doing it. I think it would be a wrong move.
I don't know. It's a powerful figure to invoke. The whole concept of saying that his spirit was split wouldn't be that he's changing to Vader. It's been that there is actually a spirit that resembles Vader out there.
Unless it isn't really Vader to begin with. It's someone else projecting Anakin and Vader to Rey or Kylo or whatever.
And then someone jumps out of the shadows and yells, "Psych!"
Gotcha.
Let me put a little twist on this. Let me ask you guys this question, because we keep hearing this is going to be the wrap to the Skywalker saga. And we know that Kylo is the Skywalker in this new trilogy. Does this movie become more about Kylo and less about Rey? I mean, how does Rey even fit into any of this? I don't get it.
I don't know, dude.
She's training the Jedi?
Ep 8 ended. I don't know.
She training more Jedi or something?
I'd say that's one of the rumors. Whatever.
Ishly. I mean,
Yeah, and the scroll will be like, Rey has passed away.
maybe she'll come in like
The opening
Luke.
text scroll.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll come in Luke like in Return of the Jedi, and she's just like better.
Shows up as a confident badass.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I think we talked about that.
I feel like they're at least going to, the
before.
attempt to do that is a given. I feel.
She gets imbued with Luke.
She eats Luke. She sees his
she
spirit
collects his
show up, and she's
dust.
like, nom 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 nom.
Yeah.
She goes and gets all the dust out of a bin that all the little frog ladies swept up Luke dust when they were cleaning up.
Yep.
And Octo.
Yeah,
And
she snorts it
the keepers
like
or whatever.
Coke.
Yeah, she just does a line of Luke.
that's the weirdest part to me because
That's what I try to do when I'm feeling down. I
That's
just
good, Luke.
do a line of Luke.
it just feels weird to me because we've been, Force Awakens set up Rey as the protagonist for this new.
And potentially a huge badass.
Well, I mean, she's supposedly the protagonist for this new, but I'm sorry, but in Last Jedi, she almost kind of took a back seat.
By the end of
as-
the movie, that's kind of how it felt.
I mean, it really wasn't even her film.
Well, not.
It. I mean, true. I mean, so we didn't really see any growth from her.
You know, it's one of the things we've never really critiqued that much is whether or not Rey was that important in The Last Jedi, other than showing up with the Falcon and getting everybody off the planet.
And seeing herself in a mirror projected.
She opened the cave at the end with levitating the rocks.
Yeah.
It'll be
good of her.
interesting to see if he can somehow pull this, because I don't understand where this is going. If this is the end of the Skywalker saga, I mean, obviously Kylo has to be pulled into this somehow. Do the Skywalkers end up on a redemption note, or do they end up on he's an evil jerk that gets killed by Rey? Because that doesn't seem like a very satisfying end to the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
By offing the last Skywalker.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But
I don't know.
That would certainly close the door on a Skywalker
I guess.
continuing.
Sure. Unless
Like
you
it-
have, unless the Reylo,
So the size
the
Skywalker.
Reylo rumors are true.
Guys, the thing you didn't realize is the Skywalker saga is a tragedy.
Yeah,
aw,
it's true.
they're all dead.
It's a Greek tragedy. Everybody dies.
Bring
Everybody,
it.
And
everybody.
somebody who they thought was dead isn't dead gets up and goes, "Oh no, everybody died," and then they kill themselves and then they're dead.
With poison in the ear.
Very Elizabethan.
All right, so let's go to the second half of our discussion topic this evening. More on a more upbeat note.
Hooray!
Going from the confused note to the more upbeat note. Let's talk a little bit about Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
This character's been in the news the last few weeks, actually, with the announcement of Clone Wars coming back and doing a final season, and the big reveal of her in the trailer. Everybody's abuzz again about Ahsoka Tano.
I love me some Ahsoka.
Having her show up in Rebels, albeit very briefly, really, in the scope of things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to get a sense of. I want to talk about Ahsoka Tano, the character's importance to the Star Wars franchise, because here we have a character that has not appeared in any of the movies, is purely a new canon creation, and has, at least by my
She existed
estimation,
in the old canon.
Created by Lucas.
Because Clone Wars started before the Disney transition.
okay, but she was
And
she was pulled over. Okay, point being though, from my estimation, this character is as important, or maybe even more important, than say, I don't know, a Thrawn or a Mara from the old Legends.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, in the new canon, she is more central than they were in the old canon. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, how does she fit into the Star Wars? I mean, I just want to kind of get everybody's thoughts on that. I mean, she to me is like the new Mara. I mean, as popular as Mara Jade was,
thought of it that way, but yeah, at least
She's a new
Her popularity is insane.
I'd let if I could.
but we used to think of Mara that way. I mean,
Well, you
just
guys
put
do,
out of your
but-
mind, everything. Well, yeah, but I know you weren't into it as deep as we were prior to, but
we were into Star Wars before it was cool.
I mean, I think there were polls and things that were done prior to the new canon that, I mean, Mara Jade was far and away the most favorite of the expanded universe characters.
Yeah.
Like by far, wasn't even close. Maybe Thrawn was up in there too, but it feels like to me that, I mean, Ahsoka is so central to this new canon. And it's interesting to me that she has nothing to do with the movie. She's not tied into them at all.
Well, she was in the movie release of
stop
of the Clone Wars.
Well, I think part of it is she brought in a wave of younger viewers that got into the Clone Wars.
That's part of it, yeah.
And so that popularity is from there, where they're, might not be as tied to like Mara Jade because they know nothing about Mara Jade.
But how do people talk about Ahsoka now versus how they did 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, see, that's a great point, because
I just had a conversation a few weeks ago with someone at GameStop.
Whoa,
she's probably
this is getting legit now.
I know.
Buying some pops at GameStop.
I don't know how old she is, but she's probably in her 20s. But grew up loving Ahsoka Tano, and she could not. That was like her favorite. So
that's good and all. A lot of kids grew up liking Jar Jar. So why is Ahsoka so revered now? Right?
Seriously, because her beginnings were very rocky, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember that I remember, film. I was going to say in that opening film, I remember you especially were very vocal about that. And you're like, I hate that character.
Yep.
She's whiny. She's annoying. I don't understand
kind of like Luke.
Why Anakin is training her and he's not a master.
At the end of the movie, she was still whiny and annoying.
Yeah, it took a while for for that character. I would say probably a good full season before people started appreciating
that character. Had the luxury of incubation in a long form television show. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. I've changed my tune in the last few years. I was never that into Ahsoka. I was never that into the Clone Wars show. I was touch and go with it. I was like, that was okay. Okay, that episode sucked. Okay, I'm bored and turning it off. But for me, it was the whole end of the Clone Wars where Ahsoka didn't just die in Order 66.
Yep.
She didn't just fall out of the story. It's that she literally went against. It's almost like Ahsoka stood for, okay, I'm going to go deep. Bear with me. I'll try to keep it short.
Here we go.
So I was at GameStop.
Yeah, that's where all good conversations start.
Ahsoka, for me, what she did was that she took a lot of the feelings that I think a lot of reactions that people had to, as the prequels came out, the Jedi were not maybe exactly what people expected. It seemed like a very an organization that didn't seem very self-aware, given all of the brilliant minds that were in it, right? Oh, love is bad, attachment is bad, it leads to bad things. And that's very old school. Like, new age thinking is to give, allow your emotions, control your emotions, but experience them, live them, you know what I mean? And so all this like disattachment stuff, and we justify saying, well, that's part of why the Jedi got destroyed. Yeah, okay. But Ahsoka was this character who was in that, who stepped out and said, right and wrong isn't necessarily what you're saying it is. Like, I'm not going to blindly follow everything that the Jedi have put in front of me because I don't agree with what you're doing. And I'm just going to walk away. I'm going to step away from it. And I think that shift made that character. And of course, there was a build to that. It's not like it happened all at once, right? Mm-hmm. But that made me have a lot more respect for that character. It's like, oh, she not only grew up, she grew up more than all of the rest of the Jedi. Agreed. With a few exceptions, right? Or arguable exceptions. Of other Jedi that had similar paths, but her path was distinct. And that made the character far more impressive to me. And then folding her into the deeper cuts of Rebels, the deeper meanings, the deeper explorations of like the living force and the Mortis gods and all that stuff, like making her a central through line through all of that. And puts her right in the stuff that I'm fascinated by. And
on top of it, her story's still going, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
There's more story to be told for her.
More Ahsoka.
I love that they haven't killed her off yet or discarded the character.
I think part of it too is, the person who plays her actually has a deep love for the character too.
And that does show through. I love Ashley Eckstein's enthusiasm for the character.
Well,
I mean, she just loves that character.
And Filoni, Ahsoka is his baby.
Mm-hmm.
He loves the character. And I think that's why we didn't get too much Ahsoka in Rebels. I think that's why it was held back.
Right.
Because, it's kind of like, it's...
hey, we got a good thing going here.
Let's not overplay it. Let's hold it back so that it has legs for a longer period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
That artificial scarcity that makes people want more.
But going back to what you
were... The Disney vault again, if you will.
But going back to what you're saying, I mean... I love that this character has grown over time, that yes, she was annoying and people didn't like her at first, but that with time.
And anybody that says, but that was the point of the character, I'm like, that's just bad writing.
I don't know. I think seeing massive growth in a character is very...
Whether it was planned that way or not, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
right.
I love the path.
In a character is great. But making the character not annoying to watch, like you can, like, okay, it's the same thing about a villain. My favorite villains are likable villains, not because they're good and likable. I like them because they're interesting. Ahsoka was not interesting. She was for me, her defining characteristic at the start was annoying. Not that she acts annoying, but she's interesting. It's this entire thing is annoying.
To me, she almost parallels Luke that way because
that's what I was just saying.
From A New Hope to Empire to Return of the Jedi, we go from, annoying farm kid to totally loyal to my friends to wizened Jedi.
So, this is why you're wrong.
I agree with Mike. I agree with Mike.
The reason why I disagree with that predominantly because I agree with it parallels. I do not agree with that making it really all that comparable because Luke was naive and she was overconfident. So that.
But that's a nice distinction. I'm not saying it's a complete parallel, but I'm saying it's the same kind of path. I mean, I feel like she was very annoying at first, whether if she was meant to be that or not.
She was young. I
love that she was annoying initially, and that over time we grew to love her, and by the end, like you said, I love the fact that at the end of her arc at Clone Wars, even though it was truncated and shortened, that. She went through her trial, where she was accused of a crime she didn't commit. She was ultimately redeemed. And, here's Anakin going up to her. Okay, you're back. And then she looks at him. She goes, I'm done. And totally walked away. That's one of my most favorite Star Wars scenes in all of Star Wars is the scene where she's walking away from the temple.
I know.
That gives me the goosebumps.
I invoked that earlier when I talked about her literally walking away.
She takes that little thing, that little jewel necklace thing off her head and hands it to her.
But the point that I'm making is that the writing tightened up.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
The complimenting point I'm making to that is that it wasn't good, but it got good. That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
Like I said, I love Ahsoka now.
Sure.
But it took a long time to get on that train. And I don't think it's just because I had some sort of attention deficit issue with the deeper meaning of the character early on. No, I think it was a shit character and they made something good out of it. And that's great. But the ends don't justify the means. Or that statement doesn't really apply here, but it took a while to get there and they found their footing. But anybody who argues that it was on the right footing from the start, to me, that's retconning. That's retconning.
I don't even know that all of the Clone Wars were on the right footing.
I'm trying not to say it. Like, guys, the whole show sucked for a few seasons, but I know that just sets people's hair on fire.
I wouldn't even say that for a few seasons. I think there were certain arcs that really carried the show. The droid arcs were hard. The Jar Jar arcs were hard.
The clone exclusive arcs were real rough for me. I'm gonna say 70 to 80% of the show.
Sort of enjoyed those, but the Jedi arcs I was with, the Ahsoka arcs I was with. So, it was they crammed a lot into those shows, and I guess it is what it is. But
it's good that it is. We can disagree on the nuances of where it started. But the fact is, that it still ended up where it is, which is that she is one of the. There's more depth to her influence on Star Wars than just about any other character that has been since created. You know what I mean?
I just have to wonder. I mean, even for myself, I mean, honestly, I'm more interested in Ahsoka and her future than even I am with the new Saga characters.
Oh, maybe, that's what I was driving at.
Maybe that'll change. After
aside
we see
from Rey,
no,
I'm interested in Rey. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I'm probably more interested in Rey than Ahsoka because I have no idea what's going to happen with her, and I've always liked that character.
I want to be more interested in Rey, and I could say maybe Force Awakens. I would say I was maybe a little more interested in Rey, and also I wasn't totally on the Ahsoka bandwagon. I was climbing on at that point. But since Last Jedi, and because of the conversation that we just had, we're like, we don't even know what Rey.
I know that's what makes it so awesome.
No,
I don't know about that.
To me, same argument I make about early annoying Ahsoka. It's like, nope, I fell off the wagon, and that's not my fault.
I mean,
I'm just a watcher.
I get that the argument that Rey is still a blank slate, but I don't feel like that's good storytelling. I feel like you need to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the Rey character feels like it had a beginning. The middle, though, was like,
meh.
Well, I don't understand what was accomplished. It felt like more of a Luke story than a Rey story. So I don't know. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see, what JJ does with 9, but
I would be far more hooked into, like, if someone just said, okay, I don't even read most of the comics, right? But someone says, oh, we're going to do an Ahsoka comic line that takes place 2 years after Return of the Jedi. I would immediately be more interested to know what that story is going to be. Now, it's 2 years after Return of the Jedi, right? We already know what happens galaxy-wide after that.
Right.
I'd be more interested in knowing what's going to happen in that story than literally anything else that's been announced so far. Anything. Movies,
her and
comics,
Sabine looking for Ezra, and then Ezra and Thrawn's there. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I mean, there's stories to be told there. So I love that they've set that up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great. And I said, I love that Ahsoka's story is not done yet. I'm glad that Filoni has kind of reeled it in a little bit and is keeping some legs with it. I even appreciate, my fear when we knew that Ahsoka was coming back in Rebels was that she was going to overpower that show.
Yeah.
And maybe for a couple episodes she did.
And for several episodes I was like, oh no, more. What happened?
And then she's gone. But in hindsight, I'm like, that's probably the best thing he could have done.
Well, and the writing justified it at the end. They told you exactly why, which I refuse to say they had that all planned out. Sure. But they wrote it to the point where it was like, okay, yeah, that was good enough writing that's absolutely acceptable for me not getting what exactly I wanted back then. Fine, everything's great,
It's interesting to me too with all the divisiveness, especially online and everything with the fandom, that this particular character seems to be the unifying piece. There's kind of two factions right now with Star Wars fandom online. I'm not going to get into that.
No, remember,
but the unifying piece.
There's two factions that represent 5% at either end of the spectrum, and then there's 90% of.
I get it, man. Okay, the loud people online.
Okay, even the loud people online. You got it.
Even the loud people online. I think even they agree that Ahsoka's pretty badass. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? She just seems to be very unifying.
I don't follow all the misogynist fans that I hear there's so many of. I mean, I know they exist. I'm not stupid in that regard. I know they exist, but I don't follow them. But I also haven't heard anyone talking about how the misogynists hate Ahsoka.
Nobody does.
No, I'm assuming someone does.
Everybody loves
and as soon as you say nobody does, someone will tweet and be like, "Look at these!" And it's like, okay, yeah, some idiot's going to hate everything.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, so. You don't hear about it. You don't hear about it because the character has earned the respect.
Yeah, you can tell the respect because Ashley Eckstein's still on Twitter. Right?
Yeah, exactly. She hasn't did social media. I don't know.
She hasn't been bullied off social media.
I don't know if I want to kick open this hornet's nest. I really don't know because I know it's back. I know it's back, and I just don't know that I want to even talk about it. It was done, or it's not done, but we covered it. We talked about it.
So, any other thoughts on Ahsoka, Garrick?
I love it. Yeah. I mean, if I had to compare it, I would compare it to the anime series Naruto.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Because at the beginning of Naruto, the main character, Naruto Uzumaki, is the most annoying character to ever walk the face of the earth. But at the end, he actually turns it around, actually learns a lesson. He turns into a pretty cool character. And probably one of my favorites now. So, yeah, that's a 1-to-1 ratio right there.
Playing all those Namco Bandai fighting games, are you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Howie, any parting thoughts on Ahsoka?
Well, I would love to get a more of a female perspective on this, because for a primetime Star Wars character, she's one of the first big female characters that kind of came out. Yeah, on a big, we had Leia, but
I'll say when it comes, okay, you're folding the movies. I thought when you said primetime, I thought you meant TV exclusively.
No, I meant like, big in the limelight.
Is it even worth saying once again that Leia doesn't get enough love? We're also critical of each other and backpatting of each other, going, finally a powerful female in Star Wars, and I'm like, the whole thing.
I've said that from the beginning.
I know. I know. That's why I said
those comments fall on deaf ears. But
I don't think Leia gets enough love, but I think that was a product of the time.
The character of Leia was almost cut from the script because George Lucas considered making Luke a female.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
I agree.
And yet we finally pulled ourselves out of the dredges of garbage. He was also going to make everybody dwarves at one point. So whatever.
That film went through a lot of incarnations.
Anyhow, speaking of going through some incarnations, Howie, have fun on the edit. This has been a wonderful 194th. Did I get that right? Or are we on 5? I've lost
194.
194th episode of Fly Casual, and thank you for joining us. Won't you please follow us on Twitter at FlyCasual1138, where we love to hear from you and take part in the conversation with us, with you, with everybody, because that's what it's all about. It's all about having these talks and have fun. That's the only reason we do this, because we get around and we sit around and we talk about this stuff anyway, so might as well spend too much money on equipment, hit record, and throw it at people, right?
Yeah.
Don't throw equipment.
So, no reason doing this in a vacuum. So join us on there. Also, won't you run out wherever you get the podcast, whether it be the Google podcast
Plus,
carry, or the iTunes or Dasher, and give us a nice little review so we can reach more listeners just like you. And also, Mike says YouTube, so go to YouTube.
YouTubery.
The
subscribe.
Yes, the YouTube boil salesman. And the YouTube Barker and Fly Casual podcast on there. Subscribe on that. Like and subscribe. I think that's how YouTube works. I don't know, an old man.
Subscribe, baby.
Ask my 7-year-old.
By the way, on the YouTube, we will not only have the episodes uploaded, but we do have some other things. We've got little, best of little clips, and we've got.
You're gonna keep that up. You can add some of the new garbage we were shoveling in there.
Yeah, we got some. Yeah, fan of the week stuff up there. We got some. Little comedy here and there, maybe a little Porkins. We got a little
Porkins hasn't been updated in 3 years.
All right. All right.
Challenge. If you want Mike to put the effort in, he's got to see those subscriptions. He needs positive feedback.
We need 3,000 by the end of the week.
Let me know.
Howie, you gotta set realistic goals so that
3,000 divided by 30,000.
There you go. Yep. So we need a fraction of a subscription. Yep. And so please do that, and go to betterkind.com, click on the show notes, follow along with the stuff we're talking about, and you too can feel like you have quasi-educated yourself in preparation. So, hey, thank you very much for listening. I'm Corey. Over there's Mike.
Nighty-night.
Over there's Howie.
Night.
Over there is Jareth.
Good job, guys. You did a good game. Did the game 246.
That's
game.
Not until later.
You did it. You did it.
Later, Garrick.
Game.
Save your energy.
I did it. I'm coaching. Coaching, guys.
Jelly.
I'm a good coach.
Put me in, coach. Put me in.
I'm ready to play today.